here we go. Right. Hello there, everybody. Followers of the Human Rick Nicholson. So as you know, when I'm not performing block, doing, spiritual things in my forebears, doing blocks of the wheel, I'll come on, I do these little messages every now and then, these little talks, and I think it's relevant. I'll do one today because something very, very serious has happened here in Middle Earth today. Unfortunately, this will not be going on to the Arasita page because it will involve parts of politics that is also going to link back to the age of my forebears. So you need to hear it to understand what I'm getting at. My Anglo-Saxon Heathen friends on Facebook is going on a normal account, but not on my group because it might have elements of politics, and I'll keep to my word. I forbid politics in my group, but on my personal page, as you know, I do dig quite deep into it when things are deep. So here we go. Yesterday, because now it is Friday here in Angleland, it is the hour of 1:27 AM at this precise moment. I'm recording this. I put this battle music on because I needed some, quite, I'd say, deep Germanic music for what I'm going to say now. Here we go. So as you're probably all aware by now, there's serious dealings in, I don't mean this in a racist term when I say it, because I know a lot of the people over there see this as racist. I say it in what it was known as in the medieval term, so I'll say it in both modern tongue and medieval tongue. Slavia, which is Ukraine, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Poland, Russia, of course Russia, Czech Republic, which I mentioned, Ukraine. They're the Slavic nations, basically. They are what was known as the big region of the Slavic tribes in the age of my forebears. And unfortunately, two of them, tribal regions are pretty much at war now. In the modern aspect, they are at battle. They're killings. They're killing pedestrians, non-fighting pedestrians. This is very bad. Very, very bad. But as what I'm going to say now is, I don't believe in any war in this time now, in modern gun warfare, and I don't believe in people dying, but what I do believe is that when your homeland, the home of your forebears, which you love and know so well, and when you believe that, and even the land of your forebears, the mainland, due to a combined modern Midgardian force, they call it NATO, and you are unnecessarily forced, our lands are being forced to fight against the Slavic tribe known as Russia, the land that they own, because of unnecessary conflicts in I guess you could just call it Slavia, Ukraine, Russia. So this is where the politics probably come into it now, so this is why it won't go on the Arasita group. Boris Johnson, our Norman-like, and I say Norman, he's rich, he's just, in a modern day aspect, just like the Normans, were to our forebears, an unworthy, unfit leader, has dragged us into it. He's making all these comments to provoke Putin, and he's probably going to get us all killed. Nordic nations as well. So yeah. So now, why have you come on to tell us this, Eorm and Rick? Wow. Many of you thinking, oh, because you're an Anglo-Saxon, you're of the warrior type. As my brother would say, yes, we believe in medieval warfare. We're like our forebears when we had to, but they'd fight for their land. They wouldn't go out. Okay, I know the Vikings probably would, because they needed land. This war isn't because the fighting two sides in Slavia, Russia, Ukraine need land. This is because of military army conflict. This isn't because they need extra land because their lands are swamps. This is conflict because they don't basically because Russia don't want Ukraine joining this modern NATO unit. So now we're involved in defending them, although they've not officially joined. And to cut the long story short, well, you're an Anglo-Saxon believer, you believe the warrior code. Would you not, let me just sort this out, there we go. Would you not go and fight? Yes, I'd fight for my homeland, but I wouldn't fight gun in hand, risking my life under command of the Tories. And the reason I say this, I won't fight under the command of Boris Johnson, and the reason for this is his leadership, I see his people, his party. I guess you could say his class of living, the rich, as a very Norman-like leadership. A lot of the Tory descendants is Norman. It's rich, the upper class, and like this or not, I won't fight in army combat uniform. There is a way I will fight, and I'll get to that in a minute at last resort, but I won't fight for the likes of Boris Johnson, and there's a reason for this as well, not just because of what he is. It goes back to the age of my forebears. You all heard of the legend of Robin Hood, who I do believe went by the real name of Robert Hood. He was an Anglo-Saxon outlaw in his own land by the Normans. And why was this? Let's find out, in the words of well, I won't say his name because that'll probably take me down. A certain spiritual Germanic artist that I do like. He's had his few naughty days. But anyway, back to the point. So Robin Hood was an Anglo-Saxon. Some believe Mercian, some debate more Northumbrian, and he was in the time of Norman rule. King Richard the Lionheart into King John, his brother's time, when he died, because he died in Francia, they say, fighting King Philip in Francia, because this is the reason Robert Hood at one point had to go out, some say. And I believe this at some point. He went out to fight in Francia, left Angleland, his home, born bred land, to fight in Francia with Richard or John, whoever. And obviously, the Lionheart died in Francia, got shot in the head. They were fighting Prince Philip, and why were they doing this? Because the Normans also ruled Normandy as well. They ruled Normandy, so they wanted to keep their Norse descended, what Rollo, built when the Franks give the Normans Normandy just before they converted, and they become these Christian French, Frankish. They were Christian Frankish cultured Vikings, founded Normandy, And this went all the way through, you know, it's when the Normans took over Angleland and Ireland, and they wanted to fight for Normandy. They needed the Saxons, and even down to the underclass Saxons, what they call the peasants. I don't like that word, peasants. I'll call them the working class Anglo-Saxons. Robert Hode, you know, was probably somewhere in between. Some say he was an earl. All of his people would have been working class, and they went to fight in Normandy. And when they say he's an outlaw, I want to state all of his, you know, if he was an earl, this would have probably most likely been his village. And, you know, they went to fight in Francia, they came back, and from when they were just working class under the Norman rule, they would have been treated worse. And for some reason, they were made outlaws. It's probably not the true story, but those that have seen Ridley Scott's version of Robin Hood, with you know, the Ridley Scott Robin Hood, might give a possible example of how it, of some idea of how he may have been made an outlaw. You know, when fighting back the Franks, they did try to come to Angleland as well, which I'll get to in a minute. If it comes to Russia coming to Angleland, I would get to my line of defence in a minute if I had last possible resort. Not plotting it, it's if I have to, so I'll get onto that in a minute. So, you know, the Franks come to Angleland, the English and the Angleland ruling class Norman fought them off on the beach in this Ridley Scott version. Possible events may have happened like it in real life. I think there is a recorded battle with the Norman and the English. They fought the Franks back. I think they eventually did lose Normandy, the Normans to the Franks. They basically took it back. Sort of like what's going on with Ukraine and Russia right now. It used to be part of Russia, one big Slavic. Now they want it back, and they don't want it joining NATO. You see the similarity here. And once again, we're getting involved with battle that's not our problem. But back to the Middle Ages and my forebears, who were still here under Norman rule. Once the Franks were pushed back, you know, they were treated worse, you know, and Robert Hode and them outlawed to the point that they had to create a settlement, probably some sort of settlement village in Sherwood Forest, I believe, which probably would have been even bigger than it was now, back in the age when there was more forest about. And how history repeats itself. If this doesn't end with us getting nuked or under Russian rule as well, it will just end with us. Taxes will just go sky high, just like the Normans would, you know. Probably worse than what they've ever been. I mean, look at petrol now; it's going up. Look at many things will be going up now before this has even properly begun. So now on to my line of defence. Well, if they come here invading, every heathen Anglo-Saxon Norseman wants to go to Wowhale. So if I really had to, I've got the necessary defence. Not guns, because you have to be licensed for them. I would have the necessary defence to go down in battle. And even if they shoot me, at least I've tried to go down in battle. I'll try to grasp my blade as I go down. If I had to fight one, if they're invading our streets. This is last resort, remember, I'm not plotting any murder, nothing like that. You know, I don't want any war. I want to live peacefully. I have a girl, you know, a shieldmate, a girlfriend. I have a family. I'm a normal civilised man. I'm just talking as my forebears would have spoke. If the Russian troops march up my street tomorrow and they start interrogating people in houses, I will fight for my half. I will go down and fight. I would rather die blade in hand, fighting for my half, than watch it be destroyed and be enslaved by an invading force. And that's what my forebears would have done at last resort. So, yeah, I wanted to put that view across today. I will not fight for a Tory, I will not sign up for the army, but I will fight as my forebears did. I will stand steadfast as promised of my gods. And, yeah, I think a lot of my Anglo-Saxon friends need to see this, my view. And it won't go on the page because it is political in bits. Yeah, but it's going on my main Facebook page and obviously on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm letting you know I'm not a wuss, and as they keep saying in Russia and over here, nothing will come of this war, like with Robin Hood. Nothing will come of it. There's higher taxes if we get through it, higher taxes, and being treated worse by the rich. So, what is the point? I fight for what I know and love. If I have to, last resort, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So I wanted to say that today, and anyone with the right mind to be the same. We have a saying that a Klingers half in Anglican Fensider, my religious layout that I'm part of. It's not mine, but I'm not the head blotter when I say mine. It's the layout that I'm part of. Religious order are layout, a Klingers half with Anglican Fensider, which is two other halves of East Anglia. At the moment it's a solitary half in East Anglia, known as Wolfingus half, and where the head blotter is himself in Wessex and Somerset, Gewis half, where the boss man is himself, Leofrich, the head blotter, which is Old English for like the Gothy figure, or Germanic. And these folks are down there, so yeah. We have a saying, no more brother wars, and that doesn't just go for Germanic blood, it goes for humanity in general. When we mean by no more brother wars, no more horrible major wars with guns like World War I and II, and whatever's coming up here. We don't want any war at all, preferably. Tonight's talk was the very last resort. If it does fall to chaos, and I have to defend my half, the land I'm born and bred on. But I won't be going in combats with heavy bags on my back, with a stupidly heavy machine gun. I'm not fit to do that. I have disabilities, Tourette's and autism, as you can see. I couldn't join the army, but I can fight nakedly as my forebears would, and hopefully take one or two down if I have to. I'm not, calling out any Russian in general. I'm saying I'm defending my half if I have to, and I will go down like Captain Smith did with the Titanic if I have to. So that's what I'm getting across tonight. So yeah, stay safe, guys, and stay safe, and I hope you guys took some notice from this. Be about your land. What would people do for you? Would they give back? And know who you're fighting for as well. Because I'm not fighting for no Norman or Richmond or Tory or any government in general. I think they're all corrupt. I'm fighting for the Alfred Awarding, my patron deity Ingwe, and the Essia and Wania, known to modern language and Norse as the Asia and the Vania. fight for my forebears who founded this land from the mainland, and even some of my dad's side. Because this still affects Celtic blood as well, for the Celts as well, and of course my forebears come from the mainland, but this would also affect. So know who you're fighting for, know who to not fight for, study this, and when they call upon you, say no. Because the worst that would happen is it'd get back to you know who in Russia. You see, these people don't want this, they don't want to die and to fight. And maybe he'll sort of turn away, he'll realise it is the governments that are corrupt, which is kind of what we want, really. We don't want him to see that we're fighting for these false leaders. I've known in Germanic and Norse mythology, it's predicted that we will have false leaders, produce problems, cattle issues throughout time, and all man would turn on each other and go mad, mothers and fathers, fathers and sons, etc. And Celtic mythology, and maybe in German, I do know this, there's a story where the Celtic goddess, the Morrigan, actually predicted this too, had a vision in Celtic mythology that all this would go mad and spiral out of control, and at the end of days would also come in their mythology too. So it could be a sign as well. So whether more blood Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, whether you're Celtic, something's coming, we have to be ready. But know who's right to fight for and who not. And it's not the rich. It never has been, never will be. It's been proven by our forebears. And history can repeat itself. So be careful, guys, and be ready. Was Forebears skull, if you're on the mainland in the Scandinavian skull, was Forebears. And for my the Celts will be affected on this land as well, who probably also don't want this. So you'll say Lucky Das, Longer, whatever. Just be ready to do what's right for your gods, your God, whatever you believe in, whatever you love. Everybody has a half at some point of some sort. Be ready to defend it. Was Forebears, Twinkle.